Hello, my name is Bill Greiner. If you've been getting our Eagle Ridge Church of God services or messages or whatever, some things are a little bit different this week. You may have noticed we're in a different place, and that is because we are having our floor replaced in our main room. So we're going to be in this room in a couple of weeks, but immediately we're going to have 2 times where we were off-site. And we wanted those of you, particularly who are watching online, to know, because some things will be a little bit different. We're going to be at what we call our family reunion, our family picnic, where our 2 campuses, Beaverton and Midland, come together and have a picnic. If you're local, or even if you're not, you're welcome to come. We would love to meet you. But we'll also be continuing our preaching through the Bible chronologically. And so I'll be having a short sermon in that. And then the next week, we will be having an outdoor baptism, which I don't know, maybe some of you have never seen a baptism service. We will also be recording that so that you can see some of that. Now, we want you to know, particularly for those of you who are just watching online, that we don't have the technology to make that outdoor sound as good as possible. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk to you maybe beforehand and let you know what's going on. But you're definitely welcome. We would love to have you come to either one of those off-site. We kind of planned those because we knew there would be a chunk of time we would be out of our main room. But also, you may be seeing some reels or some short snippets of parts of sermons that are coming out throughout the week. They may pop up on your feed. If you like those, and that's a good way to introduce some of the message content to other people, then you can subscribe on our YouTube channel, or you can just go on and follow on Facebook. We have them both there. They may naturally just pop up if you've been watching those. So we wanted those of you guys to know what's going on, because things are going to be a little bit different in the coming weeks. And like I said, the quality won't be as we would have it indoors, so you may not get everything that you would like as far as being able to hear real well on those 2 off-site. Once we get back in here, we believe the sound will be great. But this is a perfect time to start something new. And that's one of the things I wanted to say to all of you, particularly those who are watching online and maybe aren't local or haven't attended physically at Eagle Ridge, is that we've been reading through the Bible chronologically, and we're about at that point. If you know a little bit about the Bible, the Old Testament is the pre-Jesus part. The New Testament is Jesus and then the church spreading throughout continents. So we are, this fall, we are going to be moving into the New Testament. We've been in the Old Testament the whole year. So if you haven't been reading along chronologically with us, it's a great time to jump in. And this is something that we have. You can get one of these from us, or you can find it on Amazon or whatever. But it's broken down chronologically, because the Bible is organized thematically for the most part. It's not organized chronologically, and reading it chronologically gives you the bigger picture of the story of God's involvement with people. So we encourage people to jump in whenever, but particularly fall is starting, school's up, we're back to the post-summer routine. Great time to start a new practice. And this is something that I believe can be life-changing for anyone if they start reading the Bible. It's 15 to 20 minutes a day of how much you read each day to move through then the New Testament with us and get the whole story, the big picture of what Jesus is doing. So we would love for you to do that. Also, another thing we've got that can help you with that, particularly, well, if you have a lot of Bible knowledge or if you have zero, we're going to be doing something on September 14th here called Walk Through the Bible. And this is an organization that, in a creative way, teaches the bigger story, the flow of the story of the New Testament. And they're looking at the forest. so you can see the flow of it as opposed to talking about key verses and focusing in on that. So we're going to be having that here, 9 to about noon. You can register online if you like, and it's not too much, and we would love to have you to be a part of that if that can help jumpstart your new practice of being in the Bible, reading the Bible regularly. Oh, and one other thing I forgot is for the 2 times that we're away, there are going to be maps and directions on the website so you can get to all those places. But this whole great time to start a new habit has a bad connotation, but there are good habits and there are bad habits. And the way we look at all of this here at Eagle Ridge is that if you have a desire to know more about God, an interest in the Bible, you start with that desire. And then you do something to practice that. And that's where reading the Bible 15 minutes a day, going through the New Testament chronologically, can be a part of that. You just start practicing that for the rest of this year. Now, what happens is we practice something, then it can become a good habit where we don't have to be as purposeful or think about it. This is what we do. I read the Bible 15 to 20 minutes a day. But the next part is most exciting. This is what we believe. We believe the Bible teaches this, is that a desire that is practiced, that becomes a habit, then is character change. And then we get changed, we get transformed at a character level to be able to live and love more like Jesus. So a great time to start something that could be life-changing for you. But what I wanted also to do is to give you a little bit, since we don't know how good the sound's going to be, a little bit about Jeremiah 29, just to get you thinking about it. And this is a letter that God told Jeremiah to send to the people of Judah who had been captured and taken away from their home in Jerusalem and in Judea to Babylon. They'd been conquered by the then superpower. Earlier in the history of God's people, the tribes to the north of Jerusalem, they called themselves Israel at that point because they had split, they were carried away by the then superpower, Assyria. Now, later on, because of disobedience and sin and not following the simple laws that Moses had given them, the people from Judea are going to be taken away and taken to captivity. Their temple is no more. Their government, they're not a nation anymore. All the promises that God had for them are, in their minds, gone. A big one was that they would have this homeland. So they've been taken out of their homes, drug away to Babylon. The brightest and best are put to work doing whatever the Babylonians need. But I want to read a little bit of this letter for you and just get you thinking about it. And maybe this is an opportunity to jump in there and really dig into what this letter has to say, because it's really different. If you've been with us, we just read about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who were told they had to defy the ways of Babylon and the king and the culture there. Now, this is a letter that seems to say the exact opposite, that we're just to kind of blend in. But listen to this. I'm going to start Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 4. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all of the exiles whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Here's what he's going to tell them. Build houses, live in them. Plant gardens and eat their produce. Okay, so that is a length of time to do that. But there's more. Take wives. Have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that you may bear sons, that they may bear sons and daughters, multiply there, do not decrease. So he's saying you're going to be here for a couple generations. So settle in. I haven't forgotten you, but settle in. Then it goes on, but seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile. wait a second. These are the people that destroyed their country and took them away. Okay, seek the welfare of the city. And it gets even stranger. Pray to the Lord on its behalf for your enemies. For in its welfare you will find your welfare. For thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, do not let your prophets or your diviners or any among you deceive you, and do not listen to the dreams of what they dream. For it is a lie that they are prophesying to you in my name. I did not send them, declares the Lord. In other words, anybody that says, hey, don't settle in, this is going to be over really quick. We're God's people, he's going to take us back soon. Jeremiah is saying, and God is telling him to say, don't believe that. Don't believe the happy thought that you're going to get from some of these other people. Verse 10, for thus says the Lord, when 70 years have completed for Babylon, I will visit you, and I will fulfill to you my promise and bring you back to this place. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord. I will restore your fortunes and gather you from all the nations and all the places where I have driven you, declares the Lord. And I will bring you back to the place from which I sent you into exile. So this is a strange thing. What I'm encouraging you to really think about, and we'll be talking more about this on Sunday, is that Jeremiah needed them to know that they were going to be there for a while. I think it says 70 years they're going to be there. So settle in, have kids, build houses, have grandkids, and don't shrink in numbers, expand. That's what he's saying. Because I know the plans I have for you. I'm going to take you back. And this is really important. Now, personally, I've never been taken into exile. And I encourage you to think in terms of these people when you're hearing this, that this is not what they want to hear. They don't want to hear, they want to hear, hold your breath a little longer, you're going to be out of this. But that's not what God is saying. He said, I'm doing something here. And by the way, the judgment on how poorly you're treated by the Babylonians, they're going to be judged for that too. But here's the temptation for us, because it's strange to how do I connect with this? Is have you or are you in a place in life where you don't want to be? Maybe you don't like your job. Maybe your marriage isn't what you thought it was going to be. Maybe you're just looking back on your life and it's like, how did I get here? There isn't as much joy as there used to be when you were a kid. I don't know, but you're someplace you don't want to be. And the temptation is to say, I just want to get out of that and get to something better. What I figured in my life is if I made a quick move to get out of something, I always can assume that I'm a big part of my problem. So if I get out of it, I'm still going to have my problem over here instead of here. See, it was easy for them to just be thinking about, no, we just need to get out of here. And God's saying, no, you're not going to get out of here quick. See, what happens there's a famous saying, be where your feet are. And that's a real problem in the pace of our world. Everybody's thinking about the next step. Or they're doing something, but they're thinking about what they're going to be doing. And they're never where their feet are. Their mind is someplace else. This is called being present. The problem with not being present is that we miss what God has for us right here. Because right here is the only thing that matters at the time. And it's important. It's not just for them getting out of this mess so they can be God's people back home. No, it's pay attention right now to what I'm doing. Don't be so future-oriented that you're of no use to me right now. Be an example to the people in Babylon about how my people act while you're in captivity. See, that's the temptation, is then we view everything as either an obstacle or an asset. You ever been with this person and they're telling you about something, and then the hammer drops. Oh, they want you to jump into their pyramid scheme. You were an asset to them. Sometimes it's really easy just, who can help me get out of this to the next thing? What does God want to show me here and now? But also we can look at everything as an obstacle to get to where I want to be, because I don't want to be here in my life. It's like when you're a kid, you always wanted to be grown up. And they made you take a nap. And you don't want to take a nap. What you learn as a grown-up is, I would love for somebody to tell me to take a nap. I'm getting to the age where that just kind of starts happening. It comes over me sometimes. But that's the problem. Are you in a place in your life where you want to be someplace else and everything is an obstacle or an asset? And then we don't treat people like they're created in God's image. It's really hard to love people. It would be really hard for them to love their neighbor who is Babylonian if all they want to do is leave. Because that neighbor's going to go, this is my home, I kind of like it here, but clearly you don't want to be here. So I'm not going to waste my time getting to know you. Be where your feet are. I'm going to talk some more about that on Sunday, but I'm going to encourage you to dive into that. Think about, are you where your feet are? Are you mentally someplace else? All right, hey, thanks for listening, and you've got all the information of where we're going to be and what we're going to do. Hopefully we can connect with you, and blessings, and have a great day.